Of course, I forgot to turn all my lights on. Duh. And of course, this one. Ah. Well, here I am, guys. Unprepared. The hour caught up on me, but it's all good. I'm back for another live stream, and YouTube Studio is telling me something. What is it telling me? Bit rate is lower than recommended. I don't know what the fuck to do about that. I have great internet, so there ain't no reason for that. My internet, I've gigabit internet. There's zero reason for this to be going so low. Yep. Yeah. I do not know why it's why the bit rate sucks right now, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna work through it. I'm gonna work through it, right? Actually, let me change a setting here. See if that makes it better. Technology. Y'all let me know if it gets better. What's going on, y'all? The two usual suspects, Uriel and Woke AF. Good to see you. Hope y'all have had a good Thursday so far. Yeah, it says the internet doesn't like me. I don't know. Maybe it's my settings. I have no idea. So I'm looking at myself. I'm seeing if it increases with my changes. Either way, it's all good. It's not like I reuse this video for anything. So hopefully it looks better. If it doesn't, let me know. It still says, let's see. My bit rate is lower than recommended. Okay, I'll take it. That's fine. Like I said, this is, I mean, hopefully you're not here to look at my pretty face, but if you are, sorry, it's pixely. Just think of it as an N64 game. You know, we're going back to those days. So, guys, this is, of course, it's a Nerd and stream, Nerd and Chill stream. I've spent all my morning watching Batman Cape Crusader, and I can recommend it with, you know, as much confidence and fervor as possible. It's a really great show. If you like Batman the animated series, it'll make you feel like that. It's a little more adult, but it's very, very good. Like, all the characterizations are correct. It's got great background music. The voice acting is great. It's got really great animation. Kind of their takes on certain villains are very interesting. They're similar, but maybe not exactly the same. Writing is on point. I'm like everything that you could possibly want about a Batman show is there. I'm really loving it. I got 3 episodes to go, so I'm not going to give a full review of it. And in fact, I'm probably going to wait for my my friend podcast partner Lottie to watch it before we actually do a real review. But if you haven't started watching it, you should definitely get on to it. It's totally worth your time. It's only like 10 episodes. They're all out right now. They're like 25 minutes each, so you know it's about five hours worth of binging. And it's beautifully done. As a fan of the original Batman the Animated Series, it really does hit. And I've seen nothing but good things from other people too. So if y'all want to talk about that, cool. You know, like I said, I've only seen the first 7 episodes. Ariel, we're gonna fight about Batman Cape Crusader. We're gonna fight. But that's, I mean, I really enjoyed it. So I'm gonna catch up real quick on this. Let's see, stream. Okay, real quick, I'm checking my streaming So maybe I need to, you know what? I think I need to set up my settings. My stream settings were apparently crap. So let me set it to as high as they can be. And we'll see if that makes it look better. Let me see. Let me go down here. Actually, it's from okay. Ariel says the opening for Deadpool and Wolverine was the best opening of any film, any R-rated film. Let's just be clear, because what is it? Endgame definitely did better, but yeah, it's did really great actually. Deadpool using a skeleton fight off agents while dancing to bio is such a Deadpool thing to do. Yes, and did y'all see? Actually, I want to say whoever is managing NSYNC's YouTube said, they retitled it and said, what did he say? Bye from Deadpool and Wolverine. I think that's hilarious. It's a good way to kind of get in on it, and good for NSYNC, because this movie is definitely going to put some younger people onto their music. So lucky for them, especially with Justin Timberlake having his foolish problems right now. Hero says N64 game is crazy. Yeah, which is funny because I actually have been playing. I've been playing the game Yooka-Laylee the last week and a half, and it made me think about N64 and those types of games. It's actually really good. I enjoy. I love N64 platformers. I spent time as a younger person playing N64, so it was definitely a nice throwback. Yeah, well, Ariel, you said you think it was stinking. Did you watch the whole show? Like, how much of Cape Crusader do you watch? And have you watched Batman the Animated Series? Because they're made by basically the same people, very similar, sensibilities. So I'm kind of curious, like, what's your experience with Batman animation? Woke AF says I've been enjoying Time Bandits. I do not have Apple TV right now. I've been kind of holding off until a couple of my shows that I really want to see come back before I get onto it. So it'll just be on my list. I've heard things, but I've never watched the Time Bandits movie, so I don't really have any real connection to it. But it's Taika Waititi. Sounds fun. Woke AF says also, and I've been enjoying Kite Man. Hell yeah, I've liked Kite Man well enough. But me and Lottie also agreed that we're going to wait till the end of the season before we review it. Because so far it's been fine. It hasn't been so great that I feel like I have to talk about it every week. So I'm kind of waiting on. I feel like it's sort of missing something, and I'm not sure what it is yet. Besides Harley Quinn, I think it needs a little oomph. I don't know what that's going to be. That's not why I'm not a Hollywood writer, but I'm waiting on it. I'm still into it. It's interesting. It's just it's not as immediately like compelling to me as some of the other stuff I'm watching. Uriel says he's finished the A Train versus Tenya Ilda script and just have to write the fight part. Yeah, well, that's interestingly enough, since you're talking about fighting, writing the fights. That I wonder, how is that? What is that like? Like, do you actually want to choreograph the whole thing, or are you just like, well, then they fight? Because I feel like I don't know. I feel like when I was watching Deadpool and Wolverine, the writers were like, and then they fought, and then they sort of kind of gave carte blanche to the fight choreographers to kind of do whatever they want, as in as interesting a way as they want it to. They really did kind of go crazy in a good way in Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's see. Who would win in a fight with Kite Man versus the Wall? Who is the Wall? Are you talking about Amanda Waller? Because she wins, but he got no powers. So anybody that could punch him hard will win, I think. Ariel says after Wolverine smoked Deadpool in this speech in the car, Deadpool only had the options to fight or cry. Real talk. By the way, what a great scene. If you, I mean, I don't know anybody that really didn't think that Hugh Jackman is one of the best actors on the planet right now, but that whole monologue where he just gave Deadpool the business and like hit him and cut him deep was really fucking amazing. Like it was really a great display of emotional acting that we don't often give people. We give credit for like, oh, sadness or grief or what, all that stuff, but just being fucking tired of a guy and all of your kind of like your pent up aggression and anger at your own situation and venting it on a person and saying some really hurtful things like that. I mean, that's a skill too. Like to sell that, it's a skill too, I think. So that was a great, and I just love where Wade was just like, "I'm gonna fight you now." It was beautiful. um, yeah. Well, okay. I have to ask, who's the wall? The Pink Floyd, the wall. Amanda Waller, who's called the wall? The Trump wall, which wall? That's what I asked too. Ariel says, "I definitely didn't just watch 15 minutes of one episode." Are we talking? You're talking about K Crusader. If you only watched a little bit of one episode, give it a shot. It's really good. I mean, this is just my opinion. I think it's really good, and I think it's worth giving a real shot to. There's some characterization of some characters that goes beyond what was originally kind of envisioned. Like Harley Quinn is not the one from the animated series. This, like, to be clear, this is not Batman the animated series. This is more like they went back to the original comics from the 40s, 30s and 40s, and made something based on those. So it's more noir detective. It's more hard boiled. It's more 40s like gangster crime stuff with some weirdos in suits basically. And so you get a lot of the flair and a lot of the style, the style, and a lot of the I don't want to say filming techniques, but sort of the way they present the characters is more like from the 40s than it is from Batman the animated series, which was kind of a weird amalgamation of modern day and kind of the old school style. So in that sense, I think if you kind of look at it like that, but also understand that the different characters they're not the same. This Harley Quinn, she's got a different motivation. She's got a different mo. She's set up differently. There's no Joker that pushes her along. Similarly, you see Clayface, who is also somewhat different, and is quite interesting actually. Also, Firebug's in it, and then what other thing is that the kind of the corruption of the Gotham PD and some of, like, we all know Detective Bullock, who's a piece of crap on the take, but seeing him as like an ongoing character that's constant, like he's still a cop, so he does cop stuff, but also he's a dirty cop, so he's also doing shit like that is interesting. And in the background, there's this Harvey Dent trying to run for mayor, and the mayor of the city kind of pushing Commissioner Gordon to give a shit about really unimportant stuff, for election's sake. So all that's going on. It's like the characterizations are very interesting. We even see that if you think about Batman Year One, the comic. I don't know if you guys have read it, but if you think about Batman Year One, or even like there's a one called Batman and the Monster Men, which was a trade paperback from years and years ago. But the idea of Batman starting off as beating up thugs and hoodlums and organized crime people, beating them up, to having to fight people in costumes that start having weird ass powers. They're supernatural shit. It's very interesting. Um, Let me get caught up on what y'all are talking about. Well, OKF says I don't have Apple TV either. Oh, okay. I'm not even going to ask where you're getting your TV from. Ariel says he wants to choreograph the script, and characterize A-Train like in season 1, where he's a drugged out piece of crap. Oh yeah, where he starts with A-Train running through. It's weird to me that there isn't more people that A-Trains run through. That's weird. Okay, the wall is a Spider-Man villain who is literally a sentient brick wall of legs. Oh, well then Kite Man loses because he can't beat up a wall. Like, Kite Man has no powers. WokeF's asked, did I discuss Marvel San Diego Comic-Con stuff yet? I have not. I'm going to get to that in a second. When I'm going to catch up on what y'all said in the chat, and then I'll get to that. So, and also, hey, Brian LCS, thanks for joining. Glad to see you here. Thanks for chiming in. WokeF says Harley Quinn ruined all other versions of Clayface for me. That's the thing is that he's different than in Cape Crusader. Cape Crusader takes it very seriously. If you think about Cape Crusader, it really is like, again, the old comics, and it's not funny, it's not a joke, it's very serious. And so he's a killer. He's a real killer, and he also is an actor that can change his face. It's an interesting iteration to me, but it's not like that weird big clay monster that we see in Harley Quinn or even Batman the Animated Series. Ariel, you wish you had superpowers. Everyone does, but would you? Here's my question: would you really go out and spend your time beating up people, or would you, use it to get rich? Like, I wouldn't. I'm not wasting my time. That's what police are for. Like, if I got superpowers, I'm not bothering doing that. I'm getting paid. So now that I've caught up in everything, let's talk about San Diego Comic-Con. If y'all want to talk about Batman Cape Crusader, I will come back to it. But let's talk about Comic-Con. Fortunately, I just did the Supercast last night, so we did talk about the stuff at Comic-Con. So one thing that came out of Comic-Con, and since we sort of started these live streams to talk about The Boys, let's talk about The Boys some more. So it came out that we already know they had Gen V. We knew that they were doing a spinoff called The Boys Mexico, which who knows when the fuck that's going to come out. But at Comic-Con, they also revealed that there is a third spinoff. It's called Vought Rising, and it's a prequel to The Boys, starring Jensen Ackles and Aya Cash. Jensen Ackles, of course, Soldier Boy. Aya Cash is going to be Stormfront, or I think this is before she was Stormfront, so she's Clara Vought, who was married to the original scientist, whatever his name, Vought, a former Nazi scientist who immigrates to America, starts Vought Industries, and was apparently making the Compound V to try to make the Ubermensch for the Nazis. All right, so cool. That's a thing that's happening, and I'm interested, but I'm not excited about this show. Interested in the sense that I believe in the ability of the writers to craft an interesting story that will be compelling. They've proven it over the course of 5 seasons of TV between Gen V and The Boys. Jensen Ackles is great. He was great as Soldier Boy. Cash was great as Stormfront. So all that's true, and I'm interested, not excited, because the setup is two straight up villains are the main characters. I'm assuming the main character. There might be other people too, so maybe I don't know enough. But we already know two straight up villains are the main characters here, or at least the main superhero characters. We know they're terrible. We know that Stormfront is straight up racist, and so is Soldier Boy. And we also know that the post World War II is when Vought began its rise to power to basically be the most powerful corporation in the world, with all its cynicism and terrible acting in human society. And so, if this is all happening in America in the 50s, with two racists as maybe, if not the lead characters, at least main superhero characters, and this is a time when it's a lot easier to get away with brutalizing people of color. I'm not sure I really want to watch a show where they are going to have to necessarily touch on those things. It's not like, it's not like they can't say that. We've literally seen Stormfront murder a dude. And we know that, Mother's Milk is into the whole anti-soup thing because Soldier Boy killed his dad. And killed his dad for no reason. So I'm not so keen on seeing some of that shit that they're going to have to show. But I'm interested. I'm just not excited for this. I don't know how you guys feel about it. It's gonna hit me the wrong way. I don't care much for trauma porn, really. I mean, that's what it kind of is. Yeah, sure, okay, they're gonna brutalize minorities, and mind you, it might not just be black people. It could be gay people too. It is the 50s. It could be other nationalities. Could be non-Christians. I mean, there's all sorts of ways this could play out. But the point was, these guys are villains, and I don't understand them being leads of a show. So that's just me. I mean, yeah, Anthony Starr as Homelander is a lead of the show, but he's not the hero. And I'm like, well, then we're gonna have to get heroic characters who can't do shit, because these are the first superhumans. These other these other non-powered characters are having to deal with powered characters, and they're the heroes, but they're gonna fucking lose all the time because they're going up against a major corporation and super powered people. Let me see. I'm gonna get caught up. Eurus says he wants to see a Batman comic where Batman does petty shit. It's kind of hard. I mean, Batman's not that guy. That's just not him. He's too. I don't even call him noble. He's above it. You can't wait to see Soldier Boy fuck Stormfront. Did they ever canonically meet up like that? I can't remember. Were they? I don't think they were teammates. Were they? I don't remember. The man who created Compound V is Frederick Vought. Right. I just like the guy's name's Vought. He's some Nazi dude. The Werner von Braun of genetics or whatever. Or more to the point, he's Dr. Erskine, but like terrible. Ariel says he wants the show to have this cool 50s aesthetic. I mean, it will, but you know what I feel like they're probably gonna aim for is if you've ever seen Lovecraft Country, I think that's what we're gonna get a bit of. And Lovecraft Country was good. I really liked it. I wish it had gotten more than one season, but there is black trauma in it too, and I'm just like, this is hard to watch. They literally did the Tulsa massacre. So did freaking Watchmen, which again, I really like that show, but they did the Tulsa thing too. Uriel says if they don't make Stormfront and Soldier Boy the main characters, are going to be pissed. I think they will be just because Jensen Ackles, and Aya Cash, and because we know these characters. I think they'll be main characters. My question is, will they be the lead characters? That's not quite the same. Will they be the leads like Huey and Billy are in The Boys? Woke AF says I've lost all interest in Black Trauma stuff too, so I'm not interested. When are they going to do the next Gen V? If I'm not mistaken, Gen V season 2 will be dropping next year. I'm trying to. Either they started filming. I don't know if they're done filming the season, but they definitely started filming last month, 6 weeks ago, maybe something like that. So if they're not done filming, they will be done soon. So next year is, I imagine next summer, maybe. We may get it next summer. We'll see. And Uriel says he wants to make a comic series that shows what the world would be like if everyone got powers. I don't know if that's what that is. Isn't there? I forget the comic creator that made it, but there's a comic called was it something million genies or something like that, where every single person on the planet gets a genie and that gives them one wish, and it kind of plays out. I never did read that, but it sounded interesting. But as usual, everyone getting powers would be the worst possible thing. Unless everyone got the same powers, then it would be fine. It would be just our world now, except it would be our world now, except everything will be built to deal with people with powers. Uriel says Soldier Boy says Stormfront was a firecracker, so it probably did have some super happy fun time. Yeah, probably. I mean, they definitely knew each other because he was a World War II soldier or something like that, so they definitely knew each other. You think Soldier Boy and Stormfront will be the leads? I mean, if they are, I'm just curious because look, I get it. You want to see the rise of Cobra, right? You want to see the rise of AIM. How did they come to be? But I sure as fuck don't want to be rooting for them. Like, I'm going to be watching the whole show and being like, can these motherfuckers ever take an L? And they'll take L's, but they're not going to lose. This is in part why House of the Dragon is, I'm not in a hurry to watch House of the Dragon because I know who ultimately prevails. I'm pretty much know who ultimately prevails. So I have to be interested in the journey to get there. And I don't know how interested I am in the journey toward. I mean, we know Soldier Boy ends up getting captured by the Russians and everything like that. And Stormfront, I forget what the fuck happens to her. She, how she disappears from the map. But in the process between what we know happens in the future and here, sure, it might be an interesting story, but like these are two terrible ass people who I don't want to root for. I like not at all. Woke AF says House of the Dragon's kind of boring to me. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I watched the first 5 episodes of season 1 and it was interesting. But again, kind of knowing the way it's going to play out, I guess you have to be interested in seeing how it gets to where it ends. But it sort of dampens it a little bit for me, as opposed to like if you know that it comes to kind of a bad end for a certain group of people, sure. Now, I'm not saying I'm against prequels. I do like some prequels. I like to see how they get from point A to point B in the past. But there is a little bit of a letdown, if you will, that where since you already know the outcome, you really have to be invested in seeing the way it gets there. Now, something like the Star Wars prequels, I found those interesting because, I mean, seeing the way Anakin becomes Darth Vader, it's such a drastic change from a Jedi to a Sith that fall has got to be spectacular. So that, I mean, that would be the only way that would really work for me. Like, I'll tell you this. How about I'll say this, and I don't believe this is true because there's no indication to me that Soldier Boy was ever actually a good person. But let's just say he was more Steve Rogers than Soldier Boy at the beginning, and you see his fall from grace. That's okay. I'll take that. That would be interesting. But I get the feeling that nah, Soldier Boy was always a piece of shit. He just became a piece of shit with powers. And Stormfront is a straight up Nazi from the beginning. So there ain't no fall from grace. This is actually just the empowerment of somebody awful. Uh, Eero says it would be cool to see Mother's Milk's dad as a main character. I want to see the show in the show Payback betray Soldier Boy and Soldier Boy kill Mother's Milk family. Yeah, well, the betrayal of him was what led to him to getting captured, if I remember from season 3. It would be interesting. Well, and they're gonna have to bring all those, the formation of Payback and all that stuff. What were they doing? I think Payback actually came about in came back in the 60s for Vietnam. So who, did he have a super team before that? Where are we at? Hero says RDJ should have played Superior Iron Man. Anyway, I want to see Peter try to hug Doctor Doom and Doom blast the shit out of Peter. Yeah, that I guess we can talk about that. How y'all feeling about RDJ being cast? I mean, I had some things to say. It's I'll spoil some of it. It's gonna be on the podcast too. But I've just been watching people, and it's been real muted over the last few days. But the first 2 or 3 days after the announcement, people were really kind of like going back and forth about that shit online. Um, and my personal feeling is this is fine. It's I mean it's exciting in the sense that yes, we're getting Doom. That's dope. I wish they had done Kang correctly, but it is what it is. I don't blame them for moving forward without Kang because between Jonathan Major's personal problems and kind of the shitty way they rolled out Kang, it makes sense to move on from him. So that's cool. The whole bit about Robert Downey Jr. coming back, I mean, yeah, cool. It's a fun little bit of stunt casting, and I'm when I say stunt casting, I mean this is obviously the casting is obviously in part for the clout, right? Let's not pretend that there's some great story, some great story need where Tony Stark had to be the guy. No, he didn't. They could have cast anybody else. Plenty of talented actors, but they wouldn't have got the pop that they got from casting Robert Downey Jr. So all that, I get it. I recognize it. Don't deny it. I don't think that it's a slam dunk as far as what they get out of it. I think that if people have misgivings about it or don't like it, I completely understand. And not just because people had fan casts. I mean, it does reek of desperation a little bit. It also, if you're just a casual fan, we are not casuals. We know what's going on, right? But the casuals are going to be like, what the fuck is happening here? And they've been doing that a lot in the multiverse saga, by the way. What is happening here? I don't understand why Wanda is doing this. I don't understand why Doctor Strange is doing that. I don't understand why there's multiple Spider-Man. Like, they've been doing that. And so now you throw in yet another, why is this happening moment? And so the pop of it is cool, but you kind of have to make it make sense to people. And I don't really know that they do. And other people are like, well, you're undermining Tony's sacrifice. It's not an unfair thing to say. Or, you could have brought in anybody else. You could have it's you could have recast Kang. There's so many things going on here. So yeah, for like an hour, people are like, "Oh my god," losing their mind, right? And then it's kind of one of those things when you witness something, or you witness something, and then you start thinking like, "Wait a minute, hold on a second," and then kind of the cold water of reality starts drowning that fire out. That said, I mean, we're talking about it. It's real. It's a thing that people care about. And so I think at the end of the day, for me personally, I'm just like, okay, cool. This is a thing that's happening. It's not terrible. I wouldn't have done it, but hey, it's happening. Now I'm interested to see how you square this circle. Just make it make sense to me. You don't have to make it make sense to me. I read comics. I know what's going on. Make it make sense to the person that hasn't watched a Marvel movie since Spider-Man No Way Home. Make it make sense to them. Right? Make it make sense to the person that has never watched a Marvel TV show. Maybe they just saw Deadpool and Wolverine. And explain how Tony Stark is suddenly a bad guy. I'm just saying. I will catch up on y'all's thoughts right now. Let's see. Ariel, you know what? You have very lofty goals, and I applaud you on your desire to write a lot of things. That's a lot of damn writing, though. I couldn't be me. I barely even want to write a damn script for a 10-minute video. The Grim Reaper becomes perfect cell. That's a good call. Recruits horror villains from various franchises to cause chaos across the multiverse. I feel like there may be a rights issue in this. Ariel says we're probably going to see Soldier Boy beat the living shit out of his team in season 2. I mean, he did really make them want him to die. So, but he's a piece of crap, and that's hard to call. That's hard to be such a piece of shit in a show full of people that suck. Ariel says a Fantastic Four film looks great, and the 50s retro look of that film looks great. That's what I want for Vault Rising. I will agree. I love retrofuturism. I love. I'm a huge fan of Silver Age comics. I like probably a month or two ago, I was reading Fantastic Four, and it's silly as hell. And a lot of the stuff doesn't make any sense, but I don't care because that's such a weird time when science fiction and writers and comic writers were like, oh, we're just going to go to the moon. We're going to we're going to have moon bases, and there's ray guns and there's super science, and they just made up bullshit. And now, decades later, they're still, going off with all of that, just kind of ridiculous, concepts that they made. So I kind of love that Matt Shackman loves those things and is really kind of leaning into how ridiculous those were. And also that since this is a multiverse thing and they're on an alternate universe, it's an alternate Earth where that all of that Silver Age kind of comic booky conceptions are real. And I don't know if y'all saw any of the they were building the sets out, but they also had kind of this concept art for the way the Baxter building would look and everything. It is so Silver Age, it's ridiculous. Like it's this big sweeping World's Fair 1965 sort of looking thing, and they have a launch pad for a spaceship in front of their building. So mind you, this is in New York City, so they got a rocket launch pad in the middle of a fucking major American city. That's wild, and I love them for it. Also, we got to see Galactus, and he's Galactus. He's not a cloud of whatever the fuck he was in the other. No, he's a big old dude. You know, I also hear tell. I don't know how true this rumor is. Supposedly, Galactus in this movie is a being um that has no variant in the multiverse. So, which to me makes sense because Galactus is supposed to be, when he's done consuming everything in the universe, his body is basically the start of the next universe. So, if the multiverse is, if that's the case, Galactus isn't just the embodiment of, or not the beginning of the next universe. He would have to necessarily gobble up all of the multiverse in order to make that real. At least I think that sounds good. Yeah, but Fantastic Four looks great. I think Pedro Pascal looks really good as Reed. Um, it's weird seeing Reed with a mustache, but I'm down with it. I can't wait to see some more like stuff. They did just start filming over this, a few days ago. So I imagine in the next few weeks we'll see some, early, pictures. Let's see. Oh, Hero says he figured out the name for his American parody hero in zombie Mad Max style. America Boy. Like from the American Boy, like from the Kanye song. Hero says we're probably going to see our Doctor Doom win in Avengers Doomsday. It sounds about right, and it would be with the formula. Other one thing, we didn't talk about that really. We didn't talk about the return of the Russo brothers and the return of Stephen McFeely, who was co-screenwriter on Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War, and also I believe Winter Soldier and Civil War. I believe so. And what that means for Marvel and what they're doing going forward. Johnny, by the way, good to see you. Thanks for joining the chat, joining the live stream. Oh, I guess I should say that I never say this at the beginning of when people come in, but if you haven't liked the stream, do me a favor, like the stream. That'd be really cool of you. Let's see. Uriel says they could have easily recast. Okay, I was trying to read that right. They could easily recast Kang and said that this Kang looks different to others and that's his thing. True. I suspect I think they're gonna bring Kang back eventually, but they had a really big swing and a miss on this first time around, so it may be a little while before we actually get Kang back properly. I really would. I would love if they introduce Iron Lad into Young Avengers. Young Avengers is coming, y'all. Don't doubt it. Young Avengers is coming. I would love if they introduce Kang by bringing Iron Lad in and then recasting Kang, because Iron Lad is a younger version of Kang that's come back to the past and doesn't want to be like the many variants of his future self that are evil. So he decides to be a good guy. And one of the variants of Kang is like, no, you need to stop this shit and come back and actually do what you're supposed to. And so that would be a good time to recast. Ariel says, I think in season 5 of The Boys, season 5, in the first episode, Homelander will visit Soldier Boy a few times and just talk to him. In episode 2, they'll release him from his tube. I mean, sure, probably. I think they're going to come to an understanding because Billy Butcher is there. Ultimately, Billy Butcher is an existential threat to every soup. So they're probably going to just agree we need to fight this guy first before we deal with our shit. Johnny says, hopefully we see the other 2 Fantastic Fours, the Avengers movies. That would be fun. I actually saw somebody say something that made sense to me, and I would love if it were true. is to have I forget the actor's name, so y'all bear with me, but the guy that played Reed in the most recent Fantastic Four, they were like, what if they cast him, but as um what's the guy's name? Not the Thinker. What the fuck is his name? Basically, the ultimate Reed Richards, who turns bad and becomes like a huge threat. He becomes a really huge, terrible villain. Uh, and I was like, I'm down for that. Like, that's my one thing is there any character, is there any superhero character whose turn to villain is more believable than Reed Richards? Like, I really think about Reed Richards. Like, for instance, and I understand this is a more modern incarnation of him, but really think about Reed Richards in the Marvel and Ultimate Universe, and in Marvel Zombies. Reed Richards intentionally infects himself and the rest of the Fantastic Four with the zombie virus. Like, that's the shit. That's some that. And the thing is, when I read that, I wasn't even surprised. It didn't. I was like, oh, that is some shit that this motherfucker would do. So when you find out that, oh, there's a version of Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe that actually is one of the worst, the absolute fucking worst villains ever. You know, he's so bad that he had the power to recreate the Ultimate Universe, and he recreated it with himself as like the leader of a secret cabal of other, gods and evil people, with the intention of keeping superheroes from ever coming around on Earth, because if they did, they would stop him and his cabal. But because some shit went down, he wasn't able to keep up with it. Suddenly, superheroes are coming around. And I'm like, this is some shit that Reed Richards would do. I'm not surprised by this. So I would love to see a villainous Reed Richards. That'd be like dope. Johnny also says, hopefully we'll see both X-Men teams. Honestly, with Deadpool and Wolverine, everything's on the table. Like, really, everything is on the table right now. Anybody could come back. And by the way, let me circle back around to this. This is why they brought the Russo brothers back in. This is why they brought McFeely back in. We're going to see a lot of old hands back in this movie, and it's going to be expensive as fuck. Like, make no mistake. At the minimum, these next two Avenger movies will cost $500 million at minimum. And I think I'm being highly conservative. Endgame cost $300 million to make. In fact, it may have cost more. It may have cost $350. I can't remember for real. It cost at least $300 million to make Endgame. So if you are really thinking about it, you're talking about at least $250 million per movie, but more like $300 million. They're gonna have to pay the shit out of quite a few actors, right? And the CG and all that's gonna be ridiculous. They have to absolutely make $1 billion on each of these films, without question. That is the baseline that they have to make on each of these films. If Avengers 5 and 6 make less, like 950 mil, that is a failure in the eyes of Bob Iger and in the eyes of the investors. So that's why they're bringing these guys back. They need a sure bet. They cannot spend, $500-600 million on these two films and not make at least $4 billion. It is not a question. So if you want to know why they're definitely going back to the well on this, that is why. I'm behind. Let me get caught up. Uriel says, you want to make Ghost Rider 3. I'm sure I'm reading this wrong. I wanted to, as a love story, Johnny goes from hell and back, literally save Nadia and Danny. If I doesn't, I have to say that sort of sounds like Spawn. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Spawn's cool. and fight dozens of Ghost Rider villains. I do want them to make a good Ghost Rider. I want them to make a case for why Ghost Rider should exist. And part of the reason why Ghost Rider should exist is because they've opened up kind of the mystical and horror side of the MCU. I feel like, though, that part of the thing that the RDJ announcement sort of bothers me about is that the desire to do different things is kind of, the will to do and the desire to put money into doing things that step out of the comfort zone for superhero films has diminished. And I'm afraid that more kind of out there things are going to go by the wayside. We will see with Agatha all along, though. Where are we at? Hero says, imagine if Kang is never seen again, and he would go on to be the villain that lost to Ant. That's just one of him. And supposedly he was the worst of them, but he could have been a much more than that. They fucked up Kang. That's just the truth. Kang is by far and away one of the most dangerous, villains that exist in Marvel Comics ever, because he's never gone. No matter how he's been beaten so many times, and every time he's beaten, he still comes back, and he's still a problem. So, because he has so many variants, and there's so many, you don't know which one you fought. Which one? He's thousands of years old. Which one did you fight? Did you fight an old one? Did you fight a young one? This someone who already knows what's going on. You never know. Eric Kripke says Soldier Boy wants revenge against Billy. That's what Johnny says. I don't remember why he would want revenge against Billy, but sure. Honestly, they were fighting the same guy at the same time last time. Maybe because he's mad that he made him pull his punch. Uriel says Soldier Boy and Homelander will come to team up thanks to Billy Butcher's virus. Yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my daddy. Real talk. I still think Soldier Boy won't claim him, but maybe he'll be proud of him now. Who knows? Or maybe he'll just shit on him. Like, you're not really the president, so you didn't do anything. Eero says, I love the fact that they did the meme in Deadpool and Wolverine. Which meme are we talking about? Let me know. Johnny says, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist from Netflix will be great cameos. I mean, I agree. I would like to see, since they're embracing the Netflix shows, it would be nice for them to throw them into a movie. Just to be like, for real, these guys are really real in here. I'll say this much. I am certain that Daredevil will show up in one of the movies. I'm certain about that. Feige likes Charlie Cox too much to not give him, and Charlie Cox look, give Charlie Cox his flowers here. He has been patient and he has played ball. When they asked him to show up for She-Hulk, he showed up for She-Hulk, right? Now he has a show. It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He has done pretty much everything that Kevin Feige wanted him to do. I cannot imagine they wouldn't reward him with either a movie or a decent role in one of the MCU movies. It would be cool if he showed up in Spider-Man, by the way. Let's see. Ariel says you want to see a shitload of multiversal variants from the comics in the Avengers film. I mean, yeah, again, they're already going to be spending the money, so why not do that? We know. Well, I'll say this much. I'm pretty sure in Doomsday, and definitely in in Secret War, we're gonna see the X-Men universe, because right now Monica Rambeau is in the X-Men universe. If somebody pointed this out, I don't know if this is true. Y'all let me know. That Monica landed in the X-Men universe and at the end of the Marvels, and that the X-Men universe is the Deadpool universe. Is that true? Somebody, I didn't look it up. Somebody just said that that's what's going on. So if that's true, then most definitely we'll see those guys. At least whoever they can pay to come back for it. Hero says, I wish Butcher got a Venom-like appearance Um, I missed it with eyes of white. I mean, I don't think that they would do it for copyright purposes, but I think it's cool that he just has this weird ass tentacle monster sticking out of his chest. Um, doing Venom's a bit too much on the nose, but I mean it's already very on the nose now. Ariel says in Avengers Secret Wars, we better see Wolverine and Hulk fight. I want to have the old angry Hulk back from Ragnarok. I mean, you might end up seeing Wolverine fight Red Hulk. So who knows? I want to know if it's going to be Hugh Jackman or if it's going to be Henry Cavill. Which again, I'm gonna be mad if Cavill, if that's the only time we ever see him is in that one cameo in the MCU. I'm gonna be pissed. Johnny says those Avengers movies are gonna make $2 billion apiece. They better. They better, because I'm just saying, like, they're gonna spend a lot of money to make them. They had better make $2 billion. Like I said, if they only make $1 billion, if they just make $1 billion, they're still going to be like, this is kind of a failure. It's kind of like with Star Wars when, The Force Awakens made all that money and then it was diminishing returns, even though each of the other, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker all made $1 billion, but diminishing returns. They have high expectations. Avengers Secret War is probably going to cost 50 million. I mean, 50 million times like, 50 million times at least 5. Because you got to think about it. At the very least, they got to pay the actors. And the actors know what they're worth. Like, the actors always make more money and people complain about it, and I do too. But the truth is, they know their worth. Their image and their performance is what sells the story. So you got to pay all of them, and they know that this is going to be a $1 billion plus film. I need money, and they're not wrong. Always know what you're worth. Ira says, I think that Tony was the anchor being for the MCU, so I want to be revealed that the MCU is slowly dying. That's not a bad call. That would not be a bad call. I think the anchor being thing is weird though, because like, in the Marvel universe is literally created by it has a creator, a for real literal creator. What kind of creator makes a multiverse where a whole timeline disappears because one person dies? Why would you anchor the reality of anything to mortality? That's dumb as fuck. But I suppose that also makes it so that there aren't an infinite amount of timelines. Once the anchor being dies, they are, basically the timeline is pruned naturally. So that would prevent just an infinite growth, I suppose. Johnny asks, would you put X-23 in the new Avengers? I would put X-23 in any fucking thing. I think X-23 is a great character. I think that Logan makes a good case for passing of the torch. Daphne Keane is an excellent actor, and she's definitely, into playing the character, so put her in anything. Literally anything. Because she was great in Deadpool. Ariel asked who would win in a fight between Kimiko and X-23. X-23. She's got adamantium bones and claws. Automatic win. She would just cut Kimiko's head off, just like Wolverine did with Sabretooth. And Johnny agrees with me. Hero says we need to see Homelander get hit by a nuke in season 5, and finally in the debate but whether Homelander can or cannot survive a nuke. I think he can't survive a nuke. The reason why I say that is he bled while fighting his dad. While fighting his dad and fighting Butcher, who was, juiced up. Those guys cannot hit hard enough. They cannot hit as hard as a nuke can hit. Like, you got to understand the ridiculous power of a nuclear bomb. Like the one that was dropped back in World War II is, ridiculously less powerful than actual modern, modern, thermonuclear bombs, hydrogen bombs, etc. Those things pack a shit ton of energy in a small space and can level cities. Ain't no way he lives through that if it's point blank. Fuck no. Um, oh, Johnny says that the reason why he has a grudge is that Soldier Boy has a grudge is because Billy decided to save Ryan rather than save Ryan, and then fought Soldier Boy because he was, yeah, okay, I remember. It's been a while since I watched that. Because, and Uriel adds that Butcher betrayed him and attacked him, and that's the reason why he's back in the tube. Okay, fair enough. That's not a bad reason. I mean, yeah, he did end up getting got because of that. But don't threaten a kid. Maybe don't do that. Then you'd be fine. Ariel says in Deadpool and Wolverine, they did the meme where Wolverine was on the bed holding the picture frame. That was very good. I remember. I did see that on social media. That was funny. That's a meme that will be evergreen. I think I'll be 90 and they'll still be posting that. If we still have memes, then I don't know. It's like 40 years from now. Oh, wait, is it 40? No, it's not 40. Me being 90, it's 45 years from now. Johnny says we might see Starlight and A-Train team. Definitely. I think it's pretty clear A-Train's going to be part of the Resistance, so will Starlight, so most definitely. They made their peace with each other, and that's good. Johnny asked, do you think Homelander or Soldier Boy kill Stan in season 5? If it was anybody, it'd be Soldier Boy. Homelander doesn't... If he was going to kill Stan, he'd have done it by now. Soldier Boy doesn't have the same, fucked up mentality that keeps him in line. Ariel says, Henry Cavill got done dirty in DC, so maybe he can have a chance in the MCU and play a Marvel character like Sabretooth in the Mutant Saga or Hyperion or Sentry. Well, we're pretty sure Sentry is now being played by Lewis Pullman, who was going to be in Thunderbolts, so that's off the table. I honestly would rather he didn't play a Superman analog, but if he's going to play a Superman, Captain Britain's right there. I'm just saying. Put on that Union Jack and let's go. Hero says he wants a SCP. I want to make a SCP showing a film on the flesh that hates. If you don't know what that is, look it up. I will have to look it up. I don't know what that is. Ariel says the anchor being thing is literally just a reference how studios just give up on projects like the X-Men, Fox Universe as soon as their most important character dies. That was good. They did actually say that in the basically say that in the movie too. It's again, it would make sense, and as much as I don't necessarily like the idea, it also makes sense because if you think about the multiverse, it's essentially saying that every time something changes, a decision or point is reached too different, so it keeps spawning different universes. So is it possible to do that infinitely? And this is basically a good way of saying nope, it doesn't happen infinitely, because as soon as the anchor being of that particular timeline is dead, within a couple thousand years, that timeline is pruned, and that's that. And so that's a good way of making sure that there's not an infinite amount of timelines. X20 Ariel said X23 needs to wear the Wolverine suit in the Avengers Secret Wars. I would be down with that. That would be cool. I will say though, I did not like the CG on the mask though. It looked bad. I know everyone was hyped about it. I just didn't think it looked good. It was cool to see. Didn't look good though. Hopefully they improve that. Ariel says Homelander survived a factory explosion, so Soldier Boy and Butcher's punches will be equal to at least a smaller nuclear explosion. But the reason they're not exploding the city is the same reason. Well, let's think about this. I'm about to be a real fucking nerd right now, so bear with me. Um, think about it this way: if if their punches are really like that, not like, and let's just say that's true, that they are like mini nuclear explosions. Well, I have a problem with that because physically speaking, they should, their punches going that, hitting that hard should do something. They should either produce a shit ton of heat, right? And because you got to understand, their hands aren't bigger. Their hands are about the same size and weight as mine is, or yours is. So, in order to produce enough force to equal to a small nuclear blast, they either have to move really fast, right? Or they have to have some energy inside them to impart. So I didn't see them glowing hands, so they have to move their hands really fast. Because again, their hands, they don't suddenly have 2 tons of mass in their hands. So if they don't have 2 tons of mass in their hands and they still hit somebody hard enough to send them flying, or in this case, to hurt Homelander, they have to be moving their hands so fast to impart that energy. And if that's true, then they've got to be generating a ton of heat just to move. Their muscles have to generate a ton of heat because there is no such thing as a free lunch. Thermodynamics is real, and the amount of energy required to move something that fast produces waste heat. So where's the heat coming from? Also, concussive force is a real thing. So if they hit him so hard that it actually hurt him, but he didn't fly away into the sky, where did that concussive force go? This is why you see in anime and everything when someone, gets hit, from above, like really hard, they compress the ground in. That never happened. So there's a lot of bullshit that goes on in this. I don't believe that they hit hard enough to hit as a nuke, because there would be a ton of heat and a ton of concussive force that would have blown that motherfucking house like out. It would have blown out Vault Towers. That I don't believe. It's not. I know it's asking for real physics, but that's like, it's not real. So I'm trying to say, which is why I don't believe that he could survive a nuclear blast, because they weren't hitting that hard. There's no evidence that they were hitting that hard. Let's see. Sorry, I went on a science nerd thing, but hey, I think about these things. Johnny says, who kills each member of the 7? Hopefully somebody ironic. That would be nice. I will say Annie kills Deep. That's clearly Annie kills Deep, because they made sure to remind us that actually he was a piece of crap to her from the get-go. So she kills him. But beyond that, Noir, I don't know. Right now the 7 doesn't have many people. There's no 7. Sage is probably going to die at the hands of let's see, who would she die at the hands of? That's actually, I can't think of who would kill Sage. It would be ironic if Huey did, but he actually has the best chance of doing it because she ain't got no powers beyond being really smart. And I'm trying to think of who else. Noir, he could get killed by anybody at this point. Ariel says Superman and Doomsday don't blow up the planet every time they fight. Yeah, that is true. They don't. There's a lot of bullshit physics in superhero comics. Let's just call it like it is. But if they were, remember, again, like I said, in order to make, like, if you want to hit somebody hard enough to send them flying, you either need mass or you need speed, or some good combination of the two. And since, again, there's no reason to believe that Clark Kent's hands are more massive than mine are, as far as I can tell. If Clark were, let's just say maybe he is. Let's say he's twice as dense as a regular person. that still isn't strong enough to just, with a regular punching speed to send somebody flying. Um, Not really. For in order to send somebody flying, you really do have to have a lot of, momentum, which is a lot of energy, and thermodynamics is real. And so, there's going to be waste heat. That's just true. Think about it this way. That's the way guns work. The guns work because the waste, when there's an explosion in the chamber, the waste heat, causes the air to inflate, and it has to go in one direction. So that's the sort of thing we don't account for that in superhero things, but it's real. Um, I swear I'm going to get caught up at some point here. Let's see. Hero says, I can't wait to see Maeve's reaction to A-Train being a good guy. Also, Maeve could get our powers back with the Tim V vial that Huey didn't use. I agree. And also, I think either Love Sausage got his powers back, because it just wore off. Soldier Boy's thing wore off, or maybe he did take Tim V. But if that's the case, if he took Tim V, wouldn't that mean he would have a parasite? It's a good question. Johnny says Ryan still remembers Soldier Boy hit him with the shield. Yeah, and I think Ryan could definitely kill his granddad. He has no particular love for that guy, so laser his face off. Johnny says Marvin has to kill Love Sausage. I mean, he should, and also, ironically, he should strangle him with his own penis. So let's just, it's got to happen. Ariel says, what the fuck does the universe where Wolverine was on that Christ? Okay, on the cross and the rain and the skulls. That is an homage to, and when that was an homage to an X-Men cover from a long, like in the 80s, was it? 70s or 80s? I think it was 80s, because there's a Claremont comic where he was basically crucified, and then it might have been Days of Future Past. I can't remember. It's been a long time, but you can look it up. It's basically, and very brilliantly, they were like, let's have him go and look for his Wolverine throughout the multiverse, and we can refer to various versions of Wolverine. It's very brilliant, actually. I really enjoyed that. Ariel says about Wolverine that she got a practical mask. I agree, except here's the deal. I don't know how y'all felt about Gambit showing up. I really enjoyed that, but his suit was stupid as fuck. Like, it's so dumb looking. Because comics can make something look dope, but when you see it in real life with actual cloth and like real life colors, it looks so stupid. Channing Tatum looked dumb. I enjoyed it. I loved his character and being there. His whole suit looks so stupid. So maybe they tried the practical and they're like, this is not going to work. And so they did CG. Ariel says Superman and Doomsday punches should blow up the planet. I agree. They should. I want you to be safe when they're fighting each other. Johnny, who wins this game of chess between Reed Richards and Sage? Reed Richards. He, his brain is not limited by the size of his head. Ariel says the boys breaks physics, and look how Soldier Boy and Butcher barely broke wood, and they were able to give Homelander, who wasn't even scratched by a factory explosion, a bruise. True. This is very much a, you pick up and put down physics when it's, when it's convenient. That is the way of the writer, to ignore science when it's inconvenient. Hero says the Deep and Black Noir 2 need to go out in a glorious pink explosion holding hands as bros. Sure. That would be funny. I want them to decide who Sage actually likes more. That would be fun too. Johnny says, rank these 4: Hulk, the Thing, Juggernaut, and Colossus. In terms of what? I'm gonna assume you're gonna say power. Who's the most powerful? Because that's not even fair. Out of the four of those, Hulk is the strongest. Um, Followed by the Thing, Juggernaut, and then all right, Juggernaut, Colossus. Probably, yeah, Juggernaut and Colossus. In terms of just straight up power. That being said, Juggernaut could be up, high on if you're talking about if they were wrestling. Yeah, obviously Juggernaut wins that because nobody can move him because he's magic. So, but Colossus is on the low end of that, and there's no not besmirching him. He just is. Uriel says Homelander needs to survive a nuke so he isn't pathetically weak. Um, he's just not weak in his universe. It's just compared to anybody else. Yeah, but in his universe, he's the apex. He's the best. I still think Billy can probably rip him apart because I suspect that Billy's parasite is more than just super strong, but it actually has a bit of the whole Soldier Boy weakening. What do you call it? The power weakening. Notice also it comes from the middle of his chest, the same way that Soldier Boy's blast comes from the middle of his chest. Just saying, let's something to keep in mind. I cannot believe it's been an hour and 20 minutes. What is going on here? Hero says, for my comic where everyone gets powers, I'm going to call it Demigod Slayer and make it realistic so the strongest being blow cities away with their punches. And one person who has super speed as he runs a Mach 2, his skin just rips off. That is important. Speedsters have to have some way to protect themselves. Otherwise, it makes no sense. But then again, super durability doesn't make any fucking sense either. If basically you're saying someone's whole body is made out of, carbon nanotubes or something. That's about the only way. Johnny says, who wins between Superman and Beerus? Beerus, because it's pretty clear that unless it's which Superman. I'll say Beerus, and by the way, I don't watch Dragon Ball Super. I just understand that there are ridiculous power levels in Super. I just say Beerus because I'm pretty sure Super Saiyan 2 Goku or 4 Goku was stronger than Superman. So if it's just baseline Superman, sure, Beerus wins. If it's not, if it's some higher level version of Superman, then all bets are off. It could go either way. But I'll say this much: given that Beerus is Superman level strong, he'd beat the fuck out of Kal-El, because he actually can fight. Like if you take Super Saiyan 4 Goku versus like Kal-El, Superman, Goku will beat his ass because they have relatively equal amounts of power, and Goku can actually fight. He's got real skills. Let's see. I'm not sure. Hero says, who wins composite Godzilla versus composite Hulk? Not sure who or what those are, so explain those to me. I'll see if I can answer. Hero says, you want to write more fight scripts? Man, have at it. I don't have the what do you call it, the patience to choreograph. If I were a comic book writer, I'd be like, it would just be like just a whole page of fighting. Just whatever you want. Just make sure they end up in this building over here. Hero says, I'm pretty sure Love Sausage got more V. It would make sense to kind of get his powers back because we already know he can have powers, so just give him more V. Probably regular V and not temp V. Hero says Sister Sage needs to go out by getting jumped by a crowd of people and beaten to death, and Homeland needs to get his powers removed and forced to live in the mud with people. I mean, sure, but I think he's just going to be killed. I don't think he's not in the mood for teaching somebody a lesson. And Sage, I think she's going to get killed ironically. somehow being smart's not going to help her. Ariel, smash, kiss, marry, love sausage, the deep Deadpool. I would marry Deadpool. Like, do you see the lengths he went to save his friends? Absolutely, you want Deadpool is the guy you want. Uh, love sausage, kill. Oh, what the? Maybe actually maybe not. No, kill. Uh, smash, kiss, marry. Where's the kill thing? I want to kill the deep because he sucks. And I guess love sausage would just be the smash. I don't know. I don't know his personality. Ariel said, I think Billy Butcher will be as strong as Maeve now. Maybe. I don't think he's as tough though. Doesn't seem like that's true. He's got the tentacles are really where his powers are. The main character in Demigod Slayer is going to be Billy Butcher like character. Who wants to kill every other soup and a soldier boy weakening powers. Well, then they definitely need to kill his ass, right? You definitely want to get rid of that guy. Ariel says Superman could beat the living shit out of Beerus. Again, which version? I just want to know. Because I'm like I said, Super Saiyan 4 Goku would not have he wouldn't have much problems with fighting regular old Superman. Like, if you really, really think about this, Super Saiyan Goku could destroy a planet. Because remember, he's fighting and beating the fuck out of Frieza, who could destroy a planet. So just keep that in mind. The power levels are crazy in Dragon Ball. Ariel says composite means when you combine every version of the character into one character. Oh, if that's the case, Hulk wins that one. There's no upper limit to the power level of there's some versions of the Hulk that there's no real upper limit to his power. So he at some point he'd kill whoever this other Godzilla is. Even though current movie Godzilla, not Godzilla -1, but like, Godzilla versus Kong Godzilla is pretty fucking strong. But also he shoots radiation and Hulk soaks that shit up like a sponge and then turns around and beats the hell out of you. Ira says Superman literally punched a man so hard every version of him through the multiverse. I mean, again, it's entirely like, look, what version of Superman? That's all I say. I would have believed that about Superboy Prime, but he's a cheat code. So, now Galactus will beat the shit out of Superman. Oh no, out of Superman. Yeah. I mean, but Galactus is kind of a celestial, right? Eero says shooting love sausage to smash is crazy. Well, it's because I fucking hate the deep. I hate the deep so much that I would rather deal with love sausage. Like, I really like. He's turned into like, as a character I was semi sympathetic to, and I mean semi. Season 2, but he fucking sucks, and I hate him. Like, I hate him more than I hate Sam and Kate, and I can't stand those guys. Here says Butcher was unfazed by bullets. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen the extent of his, how durable he is. We'll see. Johnny, I need this to be throw a kill in there because I want to be able to kill one of these people. Smash, kiss, marry. Starlight, Firecracker, kill Firecracker, but if I have to, I guess kiss. Smash Starlight, marry Maeve. Maeve is she's wifey material. And I was happy that she got to have her, ride off in the sun, go be with her girlfriend deal. She is wifey material. She's fucked up, yeah, but she's better. She's getting better. Starlight, that'll just be fun. Eero says every comic version of Superman would annihilate Beerus. Would they though? I don't think every version of Superman would annihilate Goku. And Beerus was giving Goku the business. So I don't know that I believe that. Um, let's see. Eero says Superman is most recent comic gained the power to control gravity, density, etc. Like I said, there are new versions of him. Now, mind you, I haven't read the comics recently. I'm still. Last time I read a Superman comic was like 20 years ago. Um, so if it's those versions, or even like Zack Snyder's version, or the movies versions, I mean, Goku would kick that ass. Johnny says, "Smash, kiss, Mary." I swear you got to put kill in there so I can get rid of one of them. Jessica Jones, Black Widow, Captain Marvel. Smash Jessica Jones, kiss Black Widow, marry Captain Marvel. There you go. I could easily rearrange that. And I'm going off their movie and TV versions. If it were the comic versions, I would not change that. Jessica Jones is, yeah, that'd be fun. Black Widow, let's just kiss and be friends, because like, she done too much and seen too much. Captain Marvel, I mean, I would happily hang out with Carol Danvers is hot, yeah. She seems a lot more stable to marry. Who Ariel says who will win a fight with? I don't know who Extendo Stick or Lobie Sausage are. Oh, are we doing the Smash? I'll do these ones. Smash, Mary, Kill, Ashley, also Ashley, and Cindy. I'm assuming these are from the boys. Smash, hairless Ashley, the one that because she's a freak. Do that. Kill regular Ashley and marry Cindy. I think Cindy is she not? Is she Soldier Boy's handler, right? If I'm not mistaken. Kill, Smash, marry Pikachu, Squirtle, or Charizard. Do I have to do any of that? I feel like we're crossing the line here. How about instead of kill, um, train, or kill, train, or help evolve. So that definitely would be. I would kill Charizard, battle with Pikachu, and help Squirtle evolve. Because Squirtle turning into Blastoise is the best. No, I'm not doing more Pokemon. All right. Where are we at? Oh, we're so far afield. We got probably about a half hour left. Did y'all want to talk any more about this Comic-Con news? I know we didn't talk about Thunderbolts. We didn't talk about we did talk about Avengers, and we didn't talk about how y'all felt about RDJ. I would love to hear what y'all have to say about RDJ coming back. I think I said what I had to say about it, but I'm curious. Are y'all crazy about it? Do you hate it? Love it? Do you think they're being desperate about it? What's the word here? And also, we can talk about other news that it has come out. I love that on Thunderbolts they're keeping, like, what's his name? Lewis Pullman won't say he's Sentry, and I'm like, he's like, I'm playing a guy named Bob. I'm like, man, just say Sentry, man. You know, don't stop hiding this. It'd be real fucked up if he's like, no, actually, my name's Bob, and I'm like, so why the fuck why'd they cast you anyway? Here says it didn't see much of Comic-Con, only saw Doom, Fantastic Four, The Boys, and My Adventure with Superman. Yeah, they did. I mean, we already knew they were getting season 3 of My Adventure with Superman, but they did show some early, like, concept art and everything. I I guess what's his name? Lex Luthor goes bald for whatever for reasons because reasons. I would say maybe it's what is it? Kryptonite radiation poisoning. Let's call it that. Um, they also showed that they're getting Superboy. They're bringing Superboy in, like, and he looks like from the Death of Superman that era, which is pretty cool. I love My Adventures with Superman. It's a great show. Um, I always recommend people to watch it, but it is interesting how much they're getting to do with it. Um, and it's a good. I would say it's a good kind of warm up, getting ready for Superman next year. Which, by the way, they wrapped filming on that this week. So you know, I imagine in the next, I don't know, 5 or 6 months they'll do some reshoots. Probably because they're going to start editing, and in the as they edit and get post production moving on it, they'll do test screenings and see what's working, what isn't working. They'll do some pickups, they'll do some reshoots to get it right. So I imagine probably in the next, like I said, 3 to 6 months, they'll do some reshoots in preparation to get the movie ready for next summer. Very happy to see that though. Um, let's see who should play Superboy. In the honestly, it could be anyone. The thing is, it could be anyone in the cartoon, in the actual movie. And there's a good chance we actually will get Superboy in live action because I do believe James Gunn is interested in doing Teen Titans, so there is a really good chance of it. That's a good question. I don't really know a lot of young actors right now. I don't know them by name, so I can't really call that right now. But somebody in their late teens, early 20s. If y'all know them, I don't know them by name. Um, Ariel says he watched a video that said every time Lois and Superman fucked, it would be like Superman hit Lois with a jackhammer. Well, there is a big kind of, well, I don't want to say big, but there is an understanding that like Clark has gone out of his way to learn how to kind of limit hit, basically move at human speeds, use decrease the amount of effort he puts into things so that it's regular for people, and he's done it all his life so that he doesn't kill people. So I feel like he would do the same when having sex. Even though I always thought it was. I can't remember what comic book writer was that was like when he ejaculates, it'll be like shooting a bullet, and I was like, that's disturbing and also probably true because Kryptonian muscles, right? Hmm. Johnny says, who should play the Beyonder in the Avengers movie? Are they gonna? First of all, are they gonna have the Beyonder? I don't remember because I didn't really read Secret War. I just kind of read the synopsis. Was the Beyonder like a major part of it? And if he is he still like the disco guy, or did they change him? I know in Moon Girl he looks way different. So I mean, again, it could be any. I mean, they may as well use Cillian Murphy if they want to spend the money to make the Beyonder. It depends on how big of a role he's going to be. There's tons of people. Hell, I keep throwing Denzel Washington's name out there for everything, so it wouldn't bother me if it was him. Let's see. Eero says, I watched My Adventure with Superman a few days ago, and Kara getting competitive over baseball is hilarious. Yeah, I agree, but that's the sort of girl she is. Remember, she goes hard. She's not playing, and she can finally cut loose with her cousin. Loved the season finale of season 2, by the way. Really, really great. Glad you actually you started watching it. That's dope. Like I'm glad that you checked it out. Now, hopefully, it was for you. Ariel says, "A matter of Tom Holland played Superboy." I mean, sure. I just want. I get it, but if I were him, I would avoid any boy type roles and try to be more, grown up shit. He's already short as fuck and he looks young. So you don't want to get into doing that until you're 40. Um, Hero says Homelander was solo Justice League. Nah, I know you trolling right now. Ain't no way. Hom- Homelander couldn't beat Wonder Woman. So she has everything she basically has everything possible to kill him. I mean, that fucking lasso of truth on its own is enough. um, Says Superman hitting Lois with a jackhammer is the minimum force. And now the reason why I say he's better at that, like he's literally, you know, he's everything he's doing. Like he doesn't smash his cell phone when he uses it. He doesn't rip doors off when he uses them. He's not like what is it, tearing up the toilet whenever he shits. I mean, he's got control basically. Who wins in a fight between Beyonder and Sentry? Sentry. Sentry again. He's a cheat code. They canonically speaking, he's he's knocked out Galactus. He's withstood supernovas. He's done, like, canonically, he basically has done almost anything. So yeah, Sentry. Who wins in a fight with Deadpool and Wolverine? Wolverine wins the fight. He's got adamantium. He's got a better healing factor. And we already saw kind of like how it plays out. Deadpool's got good stuff. He's just how you beat adamantium and the ridiculous healing factor. What do I think of John David Washington? If you're asking him for the Beyonder, sure. There's many people. I like John David Washington. God, I got a freaking fly flying around here. It's annoying me. But yeah, why not? It says Superman isn't even city level. Wait, I'm not sure what this is in reference to. Superman. Oh, Ero says he was shocked that the character playing Ryan is 16. But you got to remember he has aged up in the role, because when he started he was a kid. And actually, if you really want to like be like, holy shit, he's twin. He has a twin brother, and that is also an actor. If you look up there on IMDb, they did a movie maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and it might have been 3 or 4 years ago, where it was like a horror movie where he and his twin were stars in it. It was very interesting. I just forget the name. I think it's on Netflix. So yeah, he's quite good. He's grown into a pretty good actor. Ariel, you're still trolling. Homelander would destroy the whole DC universe. I'm trying to think of who is the weakest person in the DC universe who would absolutely solo kill Homelander. Let me think. Not Martian Manhunter would win. I'm trying to think of who's the weakest. I still think Starfire would kill him. Starfire's got enough juice to kill him. I also think Hawkman and Hawkgirl could do it. Both the Thanagarians are strong enough. Ero says, I honestly think it's funny. Some people in real life think that Homelander is a good guy. Yeah, I wonder who these people are. Like, I've never met such a person. I think it's pretty clear he's a bad guy. I just wonder. I would love to. I think it's less that they thought he was a good guy and more realizing, oh shit, they're talking about me. Sometimes it takes people a while to realize, like, wait a minute, that's me, and they're not so happy about that. But I mean, you'd have to be a special kind of stupid to think that Homelander's the good guy. Baby Groot would annihilate Homelander. I think unfortunately Baby Groot would get killed. He Groot's strong, but like I'm trying to think on the Guardians, on the OG Guardians, only Gamora is probably the only one that would be able to kill would be able to kill Homelander if she could pin him down. She's legit. She could actually do it, I think. The Deep versus Baby Groot. The Deep still. Baby Groot don't have any good powers, unfortunately. He just doesn't. So unless he could crawl up into the Deep's mouth and like, form a tree in his brain, I don't think there's a win for him. How long am I planning to stream for? What time is it? 15 minutes left, probably until 5. So, or until we run out of things to talk about. Like I said, I did want to know if y'all are happy about RDJ being Doom. But if y'all didn't have anything else you wanted to talk about, I mean, I can wrap it up. Hear Me Out Ladypool is kind of, I mean, sure, but we don't really know what she looks like. Think Wade. She's got Wade's complexion, and like, I mean, that suit's doing a lot of heavy lifting, I think. But it was cool that Blake Lively did the voice. That's fun. That's very fun. There's a lot of fun stuff in that movie. That's like, I get why that movie's doing well. I'm pretty sure it's gonna break $1 billion. Where does it stop though is the question. Does it get to 1.5? Does it exceed Inside Out 2, which is done gangbusters? Well, it remains to be seen. Will it run out of steam? I'm not sure. It is an R-rated movie, so you got to look at it from that, but it's definitely going to hit $1 billion. It's got too much momentum. It's honestly, Ryan Reynolds called it an R-rated 4-quadrant movie. And that's not a bad call, only in the sense that 4-quadrant movies are so appealing to just about everyone that everyone's going to show up. This unfortunately can't have kids in it, so it does limit it. If this were a PG-13 movie, it might have been able to get to $2 billion, but if it was also not R-rated, some of the appeal would also be lost. Ariel says he couldn't care less about RDJ being Doom. Yeah, I mean that's not a fair, that's not an unfair way of looking at it. Right now it's just a thing it's a casting that's happened. It doesn't mean anything until we actually see what they're doing with the story. To me, it's kind of emblematic of what's happening at Marvel Studios and the thinking that's going on in the upper brass. And I don't want to say they're scared, but they most definitely are really concerned about possibly losing their shirt with the upcoming movies. So they haven't announced new projects in a while. They really have been focusing on, this is what we have in the pipeline, things that are from before Iger came back. They've already put the money in, they've shot it, they're going to put it out. But the question is, what are they going to do after these things? They haven't, because you notice they haven't announced any movies beyond Fantastic Four, the next 2 Avengers. So clearly there are going to be other movies that come out between Avengers 5 and 6. We don't know what they are. So you really got to wonder, what is this casting and what does it mean about the mindset at Marvel Studios and what they are and are not going to greenlight. He says under the mask, he's probably you talking about Lady Deadpool. Under the mask, she probably looks like an improv comedy prop. Yeah, like she basically a woman that looks the way Wade does. under the mask. Who will win in a fight between Hulk and Godzilla composite? Again, Hulk can absorb radiation, so if he got blasted with that breath, he'd be super powerful, and he's really hard to kill. Like, so hard to kill. Again, canonically within the comics, probably will live beyond most everybody else on the planet. Even when Banner himself is dead, Hulk is going to continue and also get stronger with radiation. So, who wins in a fight, Superman and Hulk? I think Superman wins that one because he's got the power and also he can fly. I don't think could he kill Hulk? I don't think so, but I think he definitely uses his powers to his advantage. It would not be easy though. Eero says Jack Quaid is in my adventure with Superman. Who does he play? I honestly don't know. Are you? I feel like you're trolling me still. He's Superman / Clark. Clark Kent / Superman. Really good at it actually too. I enjoy his Superman quite a bit. So, what time is it? 1:49. So, getting close to wrapping this up. Godzilla is a being that the version we see is just its avatar's true form, created the multiverse by dreaming. I mean, maybe it's the metaphysical turtle on which the Earth rests, I suppose. So, I don't know if you guys don't have too much more to. Wait, you say you swear you didn't know that was Jack Quaid. Watch Star Trek Lower Decks and then go back and watch an episode of My Adventure with Superman. You're like, oh, I hear it, I see it. I think I'm going to wrap up. So my voice is actually starting to go out. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Yeah, Ariel, I appreciate it. It's always fun responding to you. I really do. Everybody else, I don't know who's still here. If you're not still here, that's cool. I'm glad y'all showed up. If you are still here, glad to have had you. I hope y'all had a good time here. I will next week. I want to say I got to look at my work schedule. It's different next week, so I may not be able to live stream like I want to, but I will look at it and see what's going on. But I will schedule one, and we'll talk. We'll talk about whatever's going on. Again, if you haven't yet, like the stream, get down there and, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Check out our various bits of content. That would be cool too. Trying to get this channel up to 500 subscribers so we can have channel memberships and all that stuff. Hit the notification bell so to let you know when we do the next lives and drop any more content. Check us out on social media at supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com if you want to email. BLERD_force1 on Instagram and Threads. Super_not_funny show on TikTok. Even though I'm not very active there. My old man, I don't understand TikTok very well, but you can hit me up there if you want to. And of course, get down to the comment section and leave your thoughts. If you missed this and you're watching this and in a replay. So, also I will plug my boy Lottie. He's Anukinihun on Threads. You can also hit him up there, and also he has a YouTube channel you can check out. And other than that, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. Watch Batman Cape Crusader. Keep an eye out on the channel. We are going to review that, so you can check that out. Otherwise, thanks for joining me. I've been Mo, comic extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread.